Good morning. Good morning. What is up, folks? JT here with another Chart Talk Live. It is Tuesday, August the 26th. I hope everybody is doing very well. Let me get my little setup squared away here. That looks good. YouTube's live. All right, let's get my screen sharing going over here in our Discord. Share. There we go. All right. Get over to the morning live stream channel. What's up, Navy Plum? Good morning. What's up, Maha? Jan, good to see you all here. Hope you all are doing well. All right. So, whoops. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. All right. So let's dig in. Let's get into it. What are we seeing here in the markets? We're going to take a look at things through the lens of ES, as we always do. We'll get through some trade plan recaps, and then, of course, we'll work on some new trade plans here live together this morning. So start thinking about your ticker requests, anything you want me to take a look at, or any questions you might have that you think I could... Oh, what's up with this? No thanks. Sorry, getting this junk out of our chat. Oh, we'll call that a spam account. Delete all that. Ban. Bye. All right, there we go. That's better. So, we'll take a look at our trade plan recaps. Then, of course, like I said, we'll work on some new ticker requests here live together this morning. So, from an ES perspective, things are continuing to look pretty good after the Jackson Hole Summit last week. And it looks like the Fed is going to try to essentially kind of tweak how they're evaluating inflation to try to see if there's essentially a good way to navigate ourselves out of kind of the quagmire that we found ourselves in with regards to interest rates. So we'll see how that all plays out, but obviously we are rooting for the Fed to do the right things, whatever they think that may be, which is, you know, hopefully a economically focused, non-political approach to how we should be handling interest rates as far as the Fed funds rate goes. So again, things have been on a good move. We did flip some stuff back to the bullish side here on the hourly chart. We broke above and we've been back testing this 333 SMA here in the bullish flag. So things are starting to look like they're building a base and trying to perhaps make another leg up after some consolidation and things sort of letting the dust settle there a little bit after the Jackson Hole Summit pump that we got there last Friday. So we have tapped some of these fib extensions and found resistance there. Obviously, I think we've got a pretty key one up here near the 0.618, right around 65.10. We came very close to that with our current all-time highs. So that will be a good level to watch for potential breakout into new price discovery if and when ES can make it above 65.10. So keep that on watch. So far, this looks like a good pullback to buy. So look for tickers that you like, maybe things that are lagging or things that are also at support and looking to run, because I think you will find some good opportunities in those setups. All right, so let's get to some trade plan recaps. We'll get through the last week's worth of trade plan recaps, and then we'll work on some new trade plans here this morning. So first up, we've got EVgo. Really, it's EV gone nowhere at this point. It's just been consolidating between our two entry levels. Let me slide this over so that's pretty obvious what we're looking at. Down there at 371 to potentially go short or find bearish positions on EVgo, and over 423 for this one to potentially make a move to the upside and open up some windows of opportunity going that direction. So far, it's just been pretty much sideways consolidation here since we did our plan last Tuesday. So not a whole lot else to recap other than just keep these levels on watch, keep this plan on watch. If it's one that you are interested in pursuing and are willing to be patient and let the trade set up and come to you. All right, next we had DraftKings. This one has made some good moves for us. We did this one last Tuesday. It's pretty much consolidated within the range there for the first day or so, but then it came back down, gave us a nice dip right off that 333 and the 200 SMA confluence right there with our stop loss average down at 44.53. From there, it's pushed all the way up over PT1 and looks to be flipping PT1 to support there at 46.64. So DraftKings playing out nicely and seems to be moving in the right direction. Make sure that you're taking profits and moving up your stops, as we always say when these plans start playing out like this. Next we had Wolf. This is from last Thursday's stream. This one, let's see, on the hourly, it certainly looks like it was a liquidity grab overhead there. Let's take a look at some of these smaller time frames, though. See what this one looks like. Yeah, that looks like a pretty good confirmed break and back test, but then it just really kind of slid sideways. Broke down below the stop loss average down level. It doesn't look all that bad. But it is below the stop loss average down, so certainly wouldn't begrudge anybody from taking or going ahead and cutting this trade for a loss if you did wind up getting in on that, you know, pretty big liquidity grab there on the 15-minute chart. I mean, that was a fairly convincing looking move, at least in hindsight. It looks like it was. I'm not personally following this Wolf plan, but that's what it looks like. As long as it's holding, and if you still happen to be in this one, as long as it's holding 870, I think it can try to make another move. But the other thing that I would say is be a little bit careful with any of these crypto miners. They certainly seem to have decoupled themselves from some of the bigger bullish moves with regards to Bitcoin, and that's, you know, what they usually move in tandem with. That just hasn't been the case for quite some time, so be a little bit careful trying to catch moves on Bitcoin or crypto names in general by trading these miners, because again, the miners just really aren't moving nearly as well as the coins or some of the other related tickers. Let me get a little bit of this coffee in here. All right, so that is the Wolf trade plan. And then Hood from last Thursday, we did this one as well. Again, no confirmed breaks on this one. Moving sideways for the most part. Did reject our call entry there at 111.14 NTS key. Sell pressure right there. Perfect rejection off of all that. And still consolidating within the range on this Hood trade plan. So nothing really to see here, but obviously keep things on watch, especially if we do get a break over 111.14. That would flip some things bullish, and I think would definitely open up some good upside opportunities on Hood. And then last but not least, Apple. This one has also pretty much been consolidating in the range, but also has an interesting confluence of resistance overhead there at 230.44. I think if Apple is able to break over that level again, we will see some things flipping bullish, and we should see upside opportunities open up and start paying out nicely. So those are the trade plan recaps. We talked about ES. Let's get into some new ticker requests, or let's answer some questions. Small group this morning. That's interesting. Maybe folks are taking the week off, or maybe everybody just booked all kinds of profits after that big pump last week and they're taking the week off. I don't know, but let's get into it. I see a few folks in here. Navy Plum, you always have good ticker requests. So if anybody has a ticker they want me to take a look at and work up a trade plan for, go ahead and start dropping those in the chat and we'll get to work on them. What's up, Yuri, over on the YouTube side of things? Sure, we can do Tesla. Let's go ahead and take a look at that while we let our friends in Discord, in the Discord server, get it together. You guys are awfully quiet this morning. No questions, no ticker requests. No need to be shy. All right, let's take a look at Tesla for Yuri over on YouTube. All right, Tesla, what do you got for us? Let's see. Let's clean this up real quick. I think I've got a bunch of stuff hidden there. All right, looks like it's playing out through some old trade plan levels we had. Looks like a call entry there at 336.04 with a PT1 at 348.27. So that move's played out so far from that old trade plan, but let's, like I said, clean this up. Where did all those just come from? Huh. Weird. Okay, that looks better. All right, let's see what we got here. Tesla, what's up, Serge? Good to see you in the mix. All right, so we did have a PT1 here at 348.27 from our last trade plan. But let's get some perspective on where our windows of opportunity might be on Tesla here. All right. Excuse me. Sorry, I was just thinking about this for a second. What's this hourly chart look like? I'm kind of thinking about playing this move. That's all pre-market. I think what we can do here is play this breakout, use our prior PT1 here as our new stop loss average down. That should be what is our current resistance. Yep, that looks good. Let's get this out of the way. I don't need that. Oklo, what's up, Navy Plum? Sure, we'll take a look at Oklo, one of my personal favorites right now to be holding for the long term. You know what? I'm starting to think that this weekly level is just a little bit off. I'm going to watch both of these for the time being, but just marking this stuff for me so I remember what I'm looking at. But I think this would make for an excellent first price target. So then where do we head after that? Potential upside moves here. Yeah, that looks 79, 37. Yeah, I like this. It's a second price target. This one I want to take I'll look at later just to see how it does play out. See if we can't lock that in as a level to keep on watch. It Tesla could try for 394.14. I'm kind of torn between 390.41. There does look to be a pretty interesting level here though. Right at about 394. No, it's a little bit higher actually, I think. I think we rejected just shy of it. I'll keep this on watch, but I think we're gonna go with the more conservative of these two levels as far as a third price target, just to be sure that we are scaling out as optimally as possible. So I like that upside trade plan. So let's figure out how we want to potentially play this one. If it does open up an opportunity to the downside. $336.04. Should open up room. 333 sitting right there. This is a level that I am testing. Looks pretty decent though. So let's take a shot at if it does break below 336.04, seeing it make a move down to 326.54. Stop loss average down. Yeah, there's a level sitting. Well, there's one there, but there's also one. Hang on, let's check this real quick. Yeah, I would give this a little bit more room, right about there. See how that looks on this recent. Yep, that looks good. All right, so second price target downside on this Tesla trade plan. Yeah, right here. 319.88. Third and final target. It's gonna be right down in this neck of the woods. Yeah, right. Yep. Make this small adjustment to this weekly level there. That looks good. All right. So let's talk Tesla. Let's get this locked in as a trade plan. 355.64 up to 367.65, 379.37 at 390.41. Stop loss average down 348.27, 336.04, 319.88, 312.30. Whoops. 312.36. Stop loss average down at 344.35. Okay, that looks good. Make a slight adjustment here. All right. So, this is what the Tesla trade plan, the new Tesla trade plan, looks like. And let's get this over in the Elite chat so we can get our links. And our alert set. And we'll give this till next Tuesday to play out. See if it doesn't give us some opportunities by then. Close of business. All right, that all looks good. We'll know when this goes into effect. All right, so what are we looking for here on Tesla? Just a quick run through of these plans. We're looking for a break above 355.64. That should bring targets at 367.65, 379.37, and 390.41 with a stop loss average down at 348.27. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 336.04. That should give us targets at 326.54, 319.88, and 312.36 with a stop loss average down at 344.35. Those are your Tesla live stream plans for you, Yuri. Thanks for joining over on the YouTube side of things. Good morning to everybody who's jumped in the mix on Discord since we've gotten rolling. A little bit late to the party, but better late than never. All right, let's take a look at Oklo for Navy Plum. Nice recovery, pushing back over some key levels from the last plan I did on it, which had a call entry at 72.38. Seemed to be breaking over and back testing that as support here this morning. A little bit of issues with the 333 overhead right there here on the hourly chart. Whoops, didn't mean to move that. Let's see, I guess this plan was from a couple of Tuesdays ago. No, that can't be right. Oh no, we would have been just below that. Yep, never mind. That was from a couple of Tuesdays ago. Okay, so I'm kind of thinking about replaying the same plan from last time, our third price target, which it did not get to after that breakout the first time, up there at 84.76. Yeah. Yeah, let's take a shot at this. We don't do a ton of plans like this because generally we want to give things a little bit of time after the open. I would certainly say that's still the case with this one, but essentially what I'm looking at here is doing a buy the dip plan, or buy as long as a specific level is holding. So let's rerun this old plan as long as we're holding over 72.38, and it looks like we're going to hold it. Obviously give things a little bit of time to sort of shake out there right after the open, but if things are still looking good for Oklo and it's holding 72.38 as support as we go into the open, I would certainly see this as an opportunity to go long on it. It's got a long signal here on the hourly. Just flip the bullish, the flag bullish there on NTS. Momentum's bullish. The SMAs are the one part of this that look a little bit, well, they are bearish. but that's, one factor of many. So it's not, a totally perfect setup, but it's a pretty solid one. And remember, we're looking for profits, not perfection. You can't make money if you're not in the trade, right? So let's run with this plan. I think that's what we're going to do. So over 72.38, or as long as that's still holding, as we get into the market open, I think we're good to go ahead and maybe take an early in the day entry. Again, don't necessarily rush in right at opens. See how things shake out a little bit first. But assuming all does hold, this one could be ready to go. $62, stop loss average down at 66.92. Let's pop that on. That looks good. All right, here comes the Oklo live stream plan. Of course, this was actually a easy one. We kind of did the work well ahead of time on this one, but that happens sometimes with these trade plans. You can run them back, as you know. Navy Plum, I think. What was the one? Was it IREN or one of those that we did recently, where you run the same trade plan a couple of times in a row for some pretty good profits? Nice. Yeah, I thought it was IREN. I'm still holding some shares in that. I think they're doing well. Not as good as my Lay's shares are doing, though. Holy smokes, that one's been ripping for us. All right, let's see. I need to get this over in the elite chat. All right, let's get this link. Okay, so, oh wait, before I do anything else, get a little bit ahead of myself there. Let's get this locked in. Oops, wrong one. Tuesday live stream plan too. Get out of here. There we go. And let's set our alerts. What? Hang on a sec. Why is that doing that? There we go. Oops, this is going until next Tuesday at 1600 hours. Okay, so let's talk about this one last time. What are we looking for here on Oklo? We are looking for a hold of support here at 72.38 to watch this one potentially run back through our upside trade plan that we did a couple of weeks ago. First target over 72.38 is 76.61, 80.11, and 84.76 PT3 with a stop loss average down at 69.30. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 63.75. That should bring targets at 59.34, 57.59, and 54.62 with a stop loss average down at 66.92. Again, remember, don't necessarily rush into this one as soon as the market opens. Try to get a little bit of a gauge, see how things are going to shake out, as my suggestion. But as long as it's holding 72.38, looks like it's good for continuation to the upside, in my opinion. All right, so let's get back to the chat. And what was the next one that we had? Galaxy. Let's take a look at Galaxy Digital. All right, Galaxy. What are we going to do with you? Excuse me. There's a gap fill there at this weekly level. Was a third price target from a downside plan back in July. Looks like that PT3 caught the bottom about as perfect as you can catch it. Lots of support tests around that weekly level now showing as resistance. Let's think about this one just for a sec. Did have that little move there. Yeah, there is another level right here. What's up, Bear Bull? Good morning to you. Thanks for hopping in the mix. Good volume coming in on it recently. That's good to know. All right. I think I see a nice little window of opportunity here. Should take us right about there. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Cool. So then the question becomes what happens over 26.92, at least by my guesstimations. This level does look like it could be adjusted down just a little bit. I think that makes for a good second price target, and then we can use our prior put entry as our third upside target, which is actually where I want to see it. So same level on watch there. Let's get these out of the way real quick. Whoops, come on. Okay, so that's the upside. Let's figure out downside. Where does that start to get interesting? This is a somewhat interesting level. It's probably sitting right about here. All right, I think what we want to do here we can take a shot at this below 22.98. Stop loss. Just a little bit. Yep. I think that's pretty good. So 23.69 would be the stop. First target's kind of close here at 21.98, but below that, we could make a bigger move to the downside. I'm looking for a test down here at 20.41 if that PT1 gives way. Third target could dip a little bit lower than this, but we're going to call it 19.46. Weekly support. Again, it could dip a little bit lower, but I think that's a smart exit there at 19.46. So kind of a tight risk window in there on the downside, but that's just kind of how the chart's reading to me. All right, so let's get this locked in. What's up, Chris? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Whoops, not 91, 19.46. Let's tighten that up a little bit. Perfect. All right, let's lock it in. That looks pretty good. All right, let's go. Someone in your office, tell them to fuck off. All right, let's get this posted in the elite chat. Let's copy message link. And let's get this locked into our template. Third plan of the day. Okay, let's get this in there and the alert set. Why does that keep doing that? Oh, I think it's because it's trying to grab that horizontal line. That's why. All right, everything's set. Let's talk through this one last time. What are we looking for here on Galaxy? We're looking for a break over 25.79. That should bring price targets at 26.92, 28.04, and 29.02 with a stop loss average down at 24.77. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 22.98. That should bring price targets at 21.98, 20.41, and 19.46 with a stop loss average down at 23.69. Those are your Galaxy live stream plans for you. And what's up, Baby Yoda? I'll take a quick look at eBay. Not one I've ever really charted. I don't have enough time to do a full charting or plan on this one because I do need to go get to work on the SPY plan for today. That being said, just looking at things from a perspective here on NTS. Yeah, as long as it's holding over this 97.36, looks pretty bullish to me. Definitely looks like a bullish pennant forming up here as well. Let's see how that jives on this hourly time frame. Yeah. Right there with the confluence with key buying pressure there on the hourly. So yeah, I'd say over 97.36 looks like it wants to continue to the upside. Does appear to be a little bit of a downtrend, top of this bull pennant or flag sitting right there. So better confirmation on a break above that trend line. But as long as 97.36 is holding, looks like it's pretty bullish. So I'll just share this chart even though it's not a full plan. I am hanging in there, brother, just doing my best to make this group some money. Definitely want to get some exposure on this Lay's trade that we just did because it was handed to us by the Xtrades top tickers algorithm. We put in, I think, a really solid plan with a really smart average down level. Shares are up well over 100% off the average down level and right at about 100% last I looked from the average cost per share, considering both entries. So, you know, just doing our thing here. All right, we're getting pretty close to market open. I do need some time to get the SPY plan put together, so we're going to call it a Chart Talk live sesh for Tuesday, August the 26th. I want to thank everybody for joining me. We will be back Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So until then, as we always say here on Chart Talk Live, plan your trades, trade your plans, go out there and get some green. Remember, keep those wins big, keep those losses small. We want profits, not perfection. Go out there and get some green. I will see you all in the chats, and I will see you back here Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, take care. Thank you so much for joining me.